In the shadowed peaks of the Appalachian Mountains, where ancient whispers linger, they appear, flickering lights born of the mountain's depths. Dancing in the night, unseen eyes watch as orbs of light defy reason and leave only questions. Are they spirits, a trick of the earth, or something far stranger? Tonight, we journey to the Brown Mountain, where mystery glows in the dark. Prepare to witness the lights. Welcome back to Macabre Mondays, where mystery meets the macabre with your favorite deadly duo. I'm Ale.
And I'm Tom.
Your guides through the strange, the sinister, and the spooky.
Ooh.
So last week, we were in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, talking about Irish folklore killers.
The luck of the Irish was not on our side last week.
It was not. We didn't run into any of them. Actually, we might have, because we did see a crow.
Yes.
We saw a crow in the parking lot that followed that day. We were like, oh my God, the banshee. But for today's episode, we're back in the States, somewhere close to home again, Tom.
Yo, you know.
You're like, leave home alone.
Honestly, the more and more we learn about everything back in Indiana, I realize how much happened back there.
No, seriously. But actually, we're not going to Indiana today. We're diving into the mystery of the Brown Mountain Lights right here in our home of North Carolina.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of them before?
No, actually never.
Me either, because I'm shocked.
But I'm assuming that it's got to do a little bit with something with the Appalachian Mountains,
Maybe.
the trail.
Yeah.
Because I feel like ever since we moved out here, I've always heard that there's hauntings and
there's so much history.
Yes, yeah. Because there's Indian burial grounds.
Burial.
And we also had the Civil War.
Right.
There's a lot of famous areas of the Civil War that took place in areas within North Carolina. So definitely excited to dive into this one.
And we're also next to Virginia, which also has a lot
for lovers.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh. Interesting that you say all that, because yes, we are going to be talking a little bit of the Appalachian Mountains today, because the Brown Mountain Lights are a series of unexplained luminous phenomena that some people like to call them ghost lights, that have just been reported for years, sporadically, flickering and floating over the Brown Mountains in North Carolina. The mountain is actually located in the Pisgah National Forest, which is an unincorporated community in Stokes County of North Carolina. But the mountain is near Lynn Falls. The mountain is near Linville Falls.
Yes, yeah. I see now. Because we've gone here.
By there, yeah. So if you're looking at the map, you can see the national park, right? And it lies in between the Lynn Falls and Asheville, because it's in the national park, the Pisgah National Park. And if you think about it, the national park, many national parks are hundreds of thousands of acres big. And Pisgah National Park is over 500,000 acres of mountainous terrain. That's where it's located, in the southern Appalachian Mountains region, which actually includes the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Great Balsam Mountains.
Blue Ridge Mountains.
West Virginia.
Everyone, take me home.
Country road.
Anyways.
No, but yes, so that's where the Appalachian Mountains comes into here, right? And so the lights have actually been seen at several locations about 60 to 70 miles northeast of Asheville in Burke County, which you've been to Asheville before. Unfortunately, not for visits, for fun.
No,
but
we still need to make a visit out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last time I was out there was right after the hurricane hit.
Yes, and you went to go help out. Yes. And Asheville is still recovering from that hard hit. Yeah,
even I-40, because I-40 is going right through this area that you have highlighted here.
Right.
And, for those of you that don't know, part of the hurricane took out a lot of I-40 and
it was rough.
Yeah, you can't even get to Tennessee from that area.
Yeah. Now, these lights, they're often described as glowing orbs. Sometimes they're white, orange, sometimes they're red, and they appear to move erratically. So they're named after the mountain itself, Brown Mountain. It's part of the Appalachian Range, specifically located in Burke and Caldwell counties in North Carolina. Now, it's important to note that the Appalachian Trail, which, if not many know, is a massive hiking trail spanning over 2,000 miles. This is huge, right? Doesn't directly cross Brown Mountain, but the general area is very much a part of the Appalachian region, which the minute, once I started getting into the story, because I'm like, what are the Brown Mountain Lights? I've never heard of them before, but apparently they're known far and large. Like, a lot of people have heard of them. So the minute I read Appalachian, I was like, now we're entering the spooky realm, because Appalachian is rich with stories of supernatural creatures. We're talking omens and superstitions that are often rooted in the region's history and unique geography, right? And so the Appalachian Trail is definitely going to be a separate episode, of course, because it might be a couple episodes, honestly, that we might
say that might be multiple parts.
Yeah, there's so much to cover because there's so much folklore behind it. I also would love to be able to interview some people who have either like park rangers who have maybe seen some crazy things out in the woods, or just hikers or anything really. It's just insane. But Brown Mountain itself is characterized because of its rugged terrain, because it has a lot of dense forests and steep slopes. Now, this terrain, what plays a role in the difficulty of pinpointing the light's exact origin, because if you think about it, it's not like every part of a mountain is accessible, right? By foot, it's a vast land. So in reality, it's kind of like if you see lights, you can't really be like, oh, drop the Google location. Drop the Google location.
Unless you're in like a plane or something.
Yeah, but it's still, you'll see more because I'm going to talk right into it. And so they're pretty much in this Brown Mountain area, okay?
I won't lie, it keeps making me think of, for almost a whole year, you and I, every time we drove past that one area near where we live, and we kept trying to figure out where those lights were coming from.
Yes.
The like spotlights. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great example, because that's literally, it's difficult, right, to kind of pinpoint, but they're in that area. But the lights are typically observed from overlooks along the Blue Ridge Parkway, particularly near Wiseman's View, because it offers like this beautiful panoramic view of Brown Mountain perfectly.
Can I go on my next slide?
Yeah, you can go to your next slide. Thanks for asking, Teacher's Pat. Imagine.
I just like when my wife's happy with me.
Yeah, oh my, here we go. Now, if you see...
That's eerie.
I know. It's going to get a little bit more eerie as we keep going. Now, my first question when I started reading about the Brown Mountain Lights, right? Because I'm like, what is this? I randomly came across a Reddit thread, of course.
First of many questions, correct.
And my first thing was like, when do these lights show up, right? Like, what is all this about? Like lights in a mountain? What's going on, right? Now, that's the tricky part, because the lights are primarily nocturnal. Most of the reports are them appearing at night. Why are you laughing?
The lights are nocturnal. As if it's like a freaking animal.
You'll see as we keep going on. You don't know.
Understand.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
But at the same time, okay. Yeah, continue.
Mm-hmm,
Continue.
Exactly.
I mean, who knows? Maybe you just can't see them during the day.
Well, the thing is, right?
Oh, man.
There are some reports. There are very few of them being seen at dusk and dawn as well. So the lights really come out whenever they feel like it. But mostly it's at nighttime. Okay? Yeah. It's during the night.
All right.
The earliest stories come from the Cherokee and Catawba tribes, as well as early settlers and even Civil War soldiers. Okay?
Okay.
We're talking way back, baby.
Like way back.
Mm-hmm. Now, this phenomenon has been witnessed by thousands, and incredibly, it continues till this day. It's not like these lights are a fleeting thing. The U.S. government has actually investigated them 3 times.
No.
And countless private groups, including students from Appalachian State University, have tried to figure out what these lights can be. They're so well known, they even made it into an episode of The X-Files back in 1999.
Okay, now that's cool.
Yes, and that just kind of really shows you how deep this mystery has baffled so many over the years, right? Now, the first recorded sighting dates back to 1913. A local hunter reported seeing mysterious lights moving across the mountain. He said that they were moving erratically, and when he tried to signal back to the lights with his own flashlight, they disappeared.
They were probably like, yo, nobody been talking to us like this in years.
They're
and
like,
now
what's
all of
going
a sudden, why are you doing this? Don't be
For real,
flashing
they're
back.
like, what's going on? So the U.S. Geological Survey, which is the USGS, conducted an investigation that year in 1922, which included detailed topographical map. I know. Topographical mapping. They initially concluded that the lights were likely caused by train headlights and automobile lights reflecting off the mountain. But train headlights?
Also reflecting off the mountain. What? You got freaking mirrors laying on the mountain or something?
It's just kind of weird, right? That just doesn't make sense, right? And just like me and you are skeptical about it because we're like, what do you mean, huh? So many people were not convinced either that that was the answer because they're seeing these lights high up above the mountains. There was a lot of skepticism from locals and researchers that were just not convinced, okay? Now, 2 reasons make that explanation very unlikely. Let me tell you them. Firstly, the lights move in ways that don't align with train or car movements. They appear to hover, change direction rapidly, and there are sightings where they even split into multiple lights.
UFOs.
Okay. Secondly, the area where the lights are seen is pretty remote. Many sightings predate the widespread use of automobiles in the region, so the whole train or car headlights, that's just kind of out of the equation. Because this is 1922.
Yeah. So in other words, all of my elder emos know that Tom was right.
Oh, I'm like, huh?
Tom
You're
DeLonge.
talking about
Yeah,
Blink 182. Okay. As we keep going forward, you can keep shouting them out if you want. But now you may also be wondering, because this is what I was wondering, right? What exactly are people seeing? Because to me, I'm like, you're seeing lights. Things are moving left and right.
Oh, I'm just waiting.
Oh, okay. Because you're looking at me like, you're flirting with me, okay? And I'm trying to tell you a story.
You always flirting with me.
Not me, baby. You are. So that's one of the questions that I had, right? Like, what exactly are people seeing? Now, people report seeing a variety of things. They see glowing orbs. They've seen flashes of lights changing colors, and even what they describe as a plasma-like phenomena. Well, interesting, right?
Plasma-like. So
yeah, kind of like
uranium.
What you mean by that?
I'm thinking
Uranium,
like Homer
like
Simpson.
What? Give me another reference. Plasma, like I don't know. I thought you would understand that.
Because I was thinking plasma screen TV.
Well, like plasma is kind of like
an element.
Right. Right.
Doesn't really help explain it, but sure.
Hold on, let me see. So plasma is the 4th state of matter besides solid, liquid, and gas, right?
Oh.
It's an ionized gas
yes.
containing free-moving electrons and ions, and it's found in various natural and technological contexts, including lightning, auras, and plasma TVs, which you're not wrong with that.
Look at that. All right, we good. Continue.
Okay, you feel good? Yeah, so it's kind of like a little oblly kind of energy ball.
Orby thingy.
Yes, exactly. There are many stories of close encounters. Some people report seeing the lights move towards them or even follow them as they drive along the parkway. One story that's often retold is of a group of hikers who saw a large pulsating light descend from the mountain and hover over their campsite for several minutes before disappearing. And I've also heard, I'm not sure if it's this story, but I've heard that there's another story that I've heard where there were some people, like some campers, some hikers in the parking lot, and this orb kind of came right at them and they kind of like moved away from it. Could be the same, but again, these are being retold, right? That in itself is absolutely terrifying, okay? Because if I'm out hiking and camping, and I'm doing this and by the Appalachian region, freaky. You're already freaking me out, right?
Absolutely.
There's already so many folklore statements. You shouldn't whisper at night. You shouldn't. If you hear your name, if you hear anybody calling you, just ignore, right? It's like if you see it, you didn't see it. It's pretty much the rule in the Appalachian region, right? Now, how high up are these lights? Although reports vary, they're estimated to appear at different altitudes. sometimes close to the ground, other times high above the mountain ridges. It's not always one or two lights either. Like I said before, witnesses have reported seeing multiple lights at once or one light being split into several. And now the duration of the lights also vary. It could be a few seconds to several minutes actually, but they often always disappear abruptly or just fade away slowly. So there's really no
rhyme or reason.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. It's also not something common where it's like, oh yeah, this is their MO. Like, oh, now it does this, and then it goes there, and then it does that, and it likes to jump back over there. Like, there's nothing like that. It does whatever the hell it wants.
Yeah, that's just their typical routine, you know.
Exactly, right? That's their own MO, their typical routine. But what do the experts say? Astronomers and physicists have proposed various natural theory explanations, including atmospheric refraction, bioluminescence,
Luminoso.
Leviosa, and even swamp gas. Now, I probably threw like 3 intense scientific words at you, which don't worry, I'm going to break it down.
Break it down.
Because I learned that swamp gas is actually a common explanation for many unexplained lights, like will-o'-the-wisps. Have you ever heard of those?
I have not, but I'm looking at the photo and this kind of makes sense, but it's also really interesting.
Interesting, right? Because I've never heard of this before. And so it's actually a naturally occurring gas mixture that's primarily composed of methane, which is produced by the anaerobic decomposition of organic matter in waterlogged soils, marshes, swamps, and bogs. Which,
so like poop.
Well, I don't know, whatever the hell.
Well, methane comes from poop too.
Well, that could be too. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, imagine a swampy area and all the fungi and the algae and all the animals and the insects. Everything is just kind of like, it's an ecosystem in itself. And that actually is what creates, all that stuff that's composed in there creates that methane. All that natural reaction from Earth, which in turn can cause the interesting lights often referred to as will-o'-the-wisps or marsh lights. Because due to the spontaneous combustion or oxidation of the gases produced by the decaying organic matter in the swamp is what gives off these kind of balls of orbs lights that come up from the swamp.
I kind of like the term marsh light. I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the will-o'-the-wisps.
Will-o'-the-wisp.
Will-o'-the-wisp. I feel like it would be a nice like campfire story. And now the will-o'-the-wisps. Or honestly, maybe like a nice folky time band. And now everybody, will-o'-the-wisps.
I thought you were going to say a folk story, and I'm like, is that not what we're kind of talking about?
No, I wanted to, no, well, yeah, but that's not what I meant. No. Well, that's what's funny, because there's definitely not, they're not the reason for the Brown Mountain lights, okay? They just can't be because of the height, the location, but it was something that experts were considering at the time, right? Now, the main theories the astronomers and physicists have proposed, like I mentioned before when I threw out all those fun, big scientific facts, one of them was the atmospheric refraction, which is light bending through layers of air with different densities. Okay, now I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently that's a thing. The next one is the geological electrical activity, which is electromagnetic fields that are generated by the mountain's geology, because the Brown Mountain's geology includes a mix of metamorphic rocks such as gneiss and schist.
Such as what and what?
No, seriously, it's like spelt out really weird, which is it's a GNEISS. So the gneiss.
Interesting.
And the schist. Okay, now this type of rock can sometimes generate small electrical fields due to the effects which occur when the certain materials are subjected to mechanical stress. Now this is all literally Earth's doing, okay? So this is
science.
This is straight up science, okay? Now it's just pretty much like the elements of the rocks and the way that they are and the way that they kind of feed into one another. It just kind of gives off this electrical activity, right?
Okay.
The third one would be plasma phenomena, which is naturally occurring balls of plasma similar to the ball of lightning. And our fourth, which I didn't mention yet, they could just be ghost lights. Classic paranormal explanation. Yeah, attributing to the lights to spirits or maybe otherworldly entities. It could be.
I mean, again, they do say that the Appalachian Trail, the mountains,
There's
all that,
so
super
much
haunted.
being held there.
Yeah, I could see that.
I agree. No,
I also
agree.
just want to believe in aliens, though, too. I mean,
Right.
¿Por qué no los dos?
I agree. God in the same way. But however, none of these theories fully can account for 100% of what is actually being observed with the behaviors on the Brown Mountain, okay? Nothing is fully concrete like, oh yeah, 100% it's got to be that. Okay, that's definitely the Brown Mountain lights. It's just not. Now, paranormal investigators, on the other hand, attribute the lights to a variety of phenomena, including paranormal spirits, energy vortexes, and even extraterrestrial activity.
Tom was right.
UFOs, yeah. Which anytime I hear of extraterrestrial activity, I always think of the Katy Perry song. What's the name of the song? She's like, kiss me, kiss me, infect me with your love and fill me with your poison. Yeah. You don't know that song? That was a bop,
I know that
bro.
song. I know that song. I wasn't.
Take me, take me.
I don't know why. All the
extraterrestrial. Something like that.
Yeah.
But that one, okay. Now, moving forward.
Thank you to our very own Alejandro Vidal.
You're very welcome.
Oh, sorry. Alejandro Bendel.
Especially seeing how they're located on the Appalachian Trail. Like we said, there's just so much folklore behind that in itself. And there's so much energy that lives in the Appalachian Trail because of its history that some hikers have reported seeing strange lights or hearing unexplained noises, leading to speculation about it being supernatural activity.
Yo, if I'm hiking and if it's close to night and then all of a sudden I start hearing noises like that or seeing lights and orbs.
Right.
I'm running the hell back to my car.
What? I mean, who knows, honestly, at this point. But one of the things you have to keep in mind, too, is that the Appalachian Trail, have you heard about it? The fact that if you look at a map of how Earth looked thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago and how the terrains and everything were, the Appalachian Trails have always been there since the dawn of time. They've never been moved. They've never been split.
Yeah.
Like, we've split up into continents now, but before we used to be, what is it, Pangea, right? We used to be one whole big continent. Yes. Well, the Appalachian Trail has stuck to the same. So that's why they say there's so much history just rooted there because, I mean, it's been there since the dawn of time.
That's interesting. Because I remember growing up in Indiana, we also were taught that, for example, Indiana, the reason once you hit Indianapolis and south, it gets more and more mountainous is because, and I could get this slightly wrong, I believe they said the icebergs or glaciers or whatever the heck it was, some type of big block of thing used to move way back in the day, and it had actually flattened out the land in the northernmost part of Indiana. The only reason I vaguely remember this is because we had to do a science project on it where we mapped out Indiana and made the north part flat and the middle part was a little bit more treacherous and then it got really mountainous.
Interesting. Okay. So I mean, we should definitely look more into that because that's actually super interesting. But that's pretty much also why they say the Appalachian is so, I guess, haunted because I mean it's lived through the dawn of time, and so who knows what everything they've
dinosaurs.
Exactly, and all the secrets that it must have seen. What would the trees say? What would the ground say? And all that, right? And the animals that were.
Do trees make a noise when they fall?
Now, what's the evidence that backs these theories? Okay, but we've got these hypotheses, but the evidence is actually sort of unreliable, clearly, consisting of just eyewitness accounts and photographs that have been taken over the years. There have been attempts to capture the lights on video, but the results are always sort of off because they sort of appear whenever. Now, there's no specific time where they're like, oh yeah, the lights are always seen at this day, or the specific season, or the specific month or whatnot out of the year. They just kind of show up whenever. And there are reports of people, like I'm talking about park rangers, hikers, locals, all sorts of people that have lived and know all about the Brown Mountain Lights, that they've probably been around there for 30 plus years and they've only seen it a handful of times. Okay. So in reality, it's not like something, it's kind of so many people I was reading on Reddit, I was scouring the web, and so many people have claimed, oh yeah, I've seen it, and it's quick. Sometimes it's a few seconds, sometimes it's a few minutes, and it's just something like when you see it, you're just like, wow, what the hell did I just see? And it's incredible that you could even witness it, right? Which makes me want to go try to see it so badly. Which we should probably try to figure out how we could do that and just kind of get lucky.
We should take my dad.
Oh my God. And Val, we can go in the RV. Oh my God. We could definitely camp out and see. We'd have better chances of that.
I can guarantee he'd be so down for this as long as we didn't tell him what we were going to go do.
Okay, Dale, don't listen to this episode.
Forget anything that you just heard.
Okay, yeah, let's move forward before we creep him out even more. So, like I said, there's been several attempts to capture the lights on video, but it's just, they kind of appear whenever, right? Now, the only known footage that is out there as of today was captured in 2016 by two scientists at Appalachian State University, Dr. Daniel Catton and observatory engineer Lee Hawkins. They caught the lights on camera flashing one night in July.
Get out.
No joke.
Yo.
These famous Brown Mountain lights left Dr. Daniel Catton ready to call it quits.
I was getting beyond skeptical. I was cynical about it.
He and observatory engineer Lee Hawkins are scientists at App State looking for physical evidence of the lights so many have claimed to see. About 3 years ago, they installed these cameras on the roof of a house, hoping to capture some proof that the legendary lights do exist.
They take a number of 30-second images every night, just consistently from dusk to dawn.
Millions of images with nothing to show until the night of July 16th.
Suddenly we had this video that both cameras caught this light over the mountain in that direction, and it was something we really couldn't explain.
Burke County Director of Tourism Ed Phillips saw the lights in person years ago.
Yes, finally we have something.
Finally, there's proof of the lights he and others have claimed to see.
They're vindicated. You know, it's giving them credibility to what they've sing.
Caton says the next steps are to figure out what they are, what correlation the lights have to this specific place, and why they only show up on rare occasions.
And we know that there's something. What is it? Don't know.
Still unsolved, this mystery continues. In Burke County, Dan Yasanowski.
That's insane.
Yeah, what do you think?
Part of me wants to just believe that it's like a plane or something. But
I know,
then
but
at the same
isn't.
time you watch it and there's not... If a plane moved that way, whoever was on that plane would have been dead.
And that's what's crazy, because in 2013, only 3 years before, they installed cameras on the roof of a house hoping to capture some proof that of the lights, that they do exist. And they take a number of 30-second images every night consistently from dusk until dawn. And this is what they ended up catching, which is incredible because so many people haven't. I mean, if you think about it, yeah. And if you think about it, even if you'd have used your phone nowadays, you don't know when it's coming out. You're hoping that they come out, and if they do, maybe they don't last enough for you to be able to pull out your phone, because you also want to witness it. It's something incredible, apparently. Like, it's breathtaking. That when it does happen, the last thing you're thinking about is like, oh,
let me record this.
Yeah, because you're thinking like, what the hell is that? And then before you know it, you saw them and they're gone. Right.
I mean, I think about it like a shooting star. Think about that.
Exactly.
Because you see a shooting star and typically it dies and it goes quick. So most of the time you don't have time to record that.
Exactly. And so it's funny because Dr. Daniel Catton was researching the lights for 10 years. And he was about to call it quits, and then they catch it on camera.
I won't lie. I think that would be the universe is just
like,
hey,
keep going.
Here, fine. I'm gonna just give you a little bit. Here's a little taste.
Right.
Teaser.
Right. And I thought that was just so crazy. The Brown Mountain lights clearly are very rare. They're considered relatively unique, but apparently there's similar phenomena like that's been reported in other locations around the world. However, the Brown Mountain lights are particularly well documented and persistent lights that hold true to its mystery till this day. So there's there's been reported phenomena lights like these, but nothing that's kind of concrete and continues happening where they're like,
could be at least a reason.
Right, where they're like, you know what, this keeps happening here. Like, no, it's Brown Mountain lights are the only lights so far that have been recorded where people are like, we consistently keep seeing this. It may not be happening every month or every day, but people.
It's consistent.
Yeah, there's reports of people out here, locals, park rangers, researchers. Like, it's people come from everywhere to try to see them themselves, right? So are the lights considered paranormal? Natural phenomenal? Natural gases? Is it a ball of lightning? All of these just really depend on who you ask, because there's really no one correct answer. The best known photo is a composite image taken by Fritz Richel in 1980s. It shows a distinct glowing orb hovering above the mountain.
What the hell?
It's a classic image that's often used to illustrate the phenomena, because that is the best known image that they were able that we know till this day, that you can actually see it clear as day. And I'll post it on our socials, guys.
This is insane, because the way you look at this, it looks like when you do a long exposure with the camera.
Pretty much.
But that can easily be debunked because the mountains aren't scattered back and forth,
right,
which would typically be seen if it was a long exposure. So this is wild.
And to think about what
could make that movement,
yes,
everything.
And you can tell just from that photo how erratic it looks. Like, it just doesn't have no rhyme or reason.
No. And because it's definitely not rocket type.
No.
Because that tail is what I'll call it towards the end,
right,
when it makes that like U shape. That's really thin, then really thick, and then it gets back to thin as it goes back into that U, but then it gets thick again. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I totally agree with everyone else. There's nothing that I feel like aligns with what that could be.
Right, and that's why when they were thinking, it might be that swamp gas or the marsh lights or whatever, that don't make no sense.
No.
That don't at all.
The math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, the marsh lights look more of like kind of like a fiery ball of light, and this just does not. This is kind of giving me like Tinkerbell vibes, like some type of fairy. Yeah. Some type of like spirit, some type of energy that we just can't fathom or understand. Maybe some type of UFO too, if this is what it looks like.
It's what's it? Tinkerbell.
Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe it's Tinkerbell. I don't know. Like it's just interesting.
You're doing that thing.
Yeah, and it's just insane how it looks, because I don't know. Like
it
no
is
one.
Weird.
Yeah, like people still to this day go look at these lights to see if they can try to experience it and explain it themselves, but no one can really fathom it. And I went down to like a Reddit thread of some people are like, oh, who has really seen it, right? And there are actual like locals who live in Burke County. Somebody had posted on there saying like, oh yeah, I actually seen it with my friend. Like we went to go try to see them, and we ended up staying like an extra 30 minutes. And in the end, they ended up spotting it, and it happened so fast. And they were like, no one's probably going to believe us, but it doesn't matter. We saw them, and they were incredible. Like, it was just, imagine seeing Bigfoot, you know what I mean? And you're just like, that's it. I saw it. Like, I saw it. No one's going to believe me, but man, I can't believe I saw that. Yeah, like everyone's been talking about this, and I saw it. Like, I just think that's crazy.
All right, so obviously, I totally think we should do this with my dad.
Yes, yes. We should do it a couple times.
How could we do this? Like, is there a specific place we can go? Place we can camp out?
I had a feeling you were going to ask, because I love that you'd be interested. And also anybody else who wants to go see them too. Okay, so now if you're thinking about trying to see them yourself, there are a few key viewing spots in the Linville Gorge area. Okay, I'm going to add a bunch of links to this episode if you guys go to the website, because it'll be easier for you guys to like access the links or whatnot. The lights are often described as small star-like points of light, okay? And like I said, they moved in all sorts of ways. Sometimes they slowly drift. Other times, they're like a burst of motion, like you'll see in the photos. Now, Wise Men's View is a popular spot. During the day, it's got an amazing view of the Linville Gorge. But at night, it's a prime location for light watching. You just have to be careful because it's super dark up there. So definitely bring a light. Like, if you're going to be hiking, just make sure you guys are prepared. You're going out into the wilderness. You're still going on a trail. You have to be cautious, right? But you'll be looking east over Table Rock and Hawksbill Mountains with Brown Mountain in the distance. Now, I know I'm saying a bunch of right now, and you're probably like, huh? Again, I'm going to add some links too, because there are websites that you can go to, like discoverburkecounty.com, and there they even have a viewing guide that you can go check it out, and they'll tell you exactly where you need to go, okay?
Now offering Macabre Monday tours.
Yes, exactly. No, they do also have like hiking tours as well. It's a huge thing. I'll get into it, but the lights have been seen along that ridge by the Wise Men's View okay, by that point, by that popular spot, and even down in the gorge itself, because some people say that they've even seen them from the top of Table Rock. So in reality, like, you can spot them just by walking back to the car. Like, you could spot them whenever.
Being in the area.
Yeah, just being in the area. But if you are planning to kind of like sit it out and see if you can like spot it yourself, that's definitely something. Now, there's also the Brown Mountain Overlook on the North Carolina Highway of 181, which is about 12 miles north of Morganton. And another great spot is the Lost Cove Overlook on the Blue Ridge Parkway at milepost 310. Okay, now if everyone's understanding what I'm saying, right, and I just learned about mile markers like 2 years ago. So it's marked, okay? It's easy to find. But keep in mind that the vegetation has grown a bit, so the view isn't always going to be quite as clear as it used to be. But clearly we've
Check yourself for ticks after.
Yeah, and it's just going to be, obviously, anything that you guys do, it just make sure you guys are cautious and you guys also do your research. But I'm going to put a bunch of links in our website, so you can also go click on them and see if you want to check them out yourself or whatever the case is. Now, everyone, like I said, there's no specific time. Okay, there's no specific time, place. If you go, it's not like you're guaranteed to watch them. But
it's not like the Northern Lights.
Exactly, where you're like, oh yeah, you go at this time of year and you're always going to see that, you're always going to spot them. But a lot of people say that fall, especially after like a good rain, might be the best time to see the lights. I mean, you could try any time of the year. There's no guarantee. And they really kind of appear whenever you do. And I think they mention it like after a good rain because it's probably like clear skies. You know, that'll probably be the best time to spot them. But again, you don't know. I mean, honestly, they could pull out whenever they want to. So, whatever.
You're like, they do whatever they want.
They really do. They're doing their own thing, right? It's funny because there's even conventions and viewing events for this as well. Like I said, if you want to learn more about that and be a part of that, if you go to discoverburkecounty.com, oh my God, you can see so much there. Even if you're in the area, you can visit the visitor center because they offer viewer guides, like I said before. You can also go on brownmountainlights.com. I mean, they got this whole website for even more information from the locals, scientists, and paranormal investigators as well. Like, there's people to this day that are still trying to
heavily investigate.
Yeah,
heavily invested.
Yeah, and still heavily investigate on the whole thing. I mean, there's YouTube channels as well that are people that actually go out and try to see if they can spot them, to see if maybe they can make some sense to it too, because it's amazing. Like,
it's insane.
Yeah, it's something that I want to witness it so badly, just because I keep hearing how amazing it is to witness it, right? And it's just like, oh, something that you can see with the naked eye. I know I'm getting riled up because I'm like, oh, can we go there right now?
I mean, you even love because North Carolina is also very dark. The further upstate you get.
Oh my, it's beautiful.
And that's one of our favorite things to do is we let our dogs out at night is we'll stare up at the sky and watch for satellites because you can see them so easily.
And it's not like we live in the middle of nowhere. So imagine going back more in the mountains. Oh my God, you're probably in a dome of stars. It just must be beautiful.
Makes me want to go camp.
I mean, after reading this, we should call up Dad and Val and be like,
oh, for real. We can even pitch a tent. We'll pitch a tent right next to their RV. Y'all can glamp and we'll camp.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. The mysterious Brown Mountain Lights, the local legend that continues to baffle scientists and thrill paranormal enthusiasts like ourselves. So what do you think it might be, Tom?
I'm going to just say Tom was right. And again, we're still not talking about me, Tom. Yeah. All the stars. I mean, Bob Lazar, which eventually we got to do an episode covering him.
But what do you think? It's like a little alien or?
I don't know. I think it could be an alien. Then there's the scientist side of me that loves like all things science. Well, yeah, maybe a little bit of skeptic. And part of me wonders if it's just because there's so many natural phenomenons that happen throughout the universe.
Right.
And I'm wondering also if part of it could also be that, the right humidity, the right temperature.
Right.
Kind of like the Northern Lights, because that's essentially what the Northern Lights are.
It's like natural gases.
They just happen a lot more often. And scientists, because of how long at a certain period and everything, scientists have been able to measure and figure out what causes those.
Right.
So sometimes I also wonder now getting into this, is that possible? Is it something that this is just caused by science?
Right.
But it unfortunately happens so quick that we genuinely just don't have enough data to be able to figure out what's causing it or how.
Well, and it's leaving scientists and like
baffled
astronomers, physicists. Like, we're talking about professionals out here that are then themselves.
I bet Einstein would probably figure it out.
Einstein would be like, bro, I think we should leave this one alone.
E equals MC squared.
No, but it's insane because I feel like there's no answer, and that's what makes everybody so much more interested. I mean, like I said, the last recorded sighting was in 1922. We're talking 100 years later now. Still no answers. Still baffling people left and right. I don't want to say more until I witness it myself, because then I think I'm going to end up being one of those like...
Hey, yo, Pops. Get the RV ready.
Oh, no. Dilly, don't listen to your son.
Let's go.
We'll call you.
Let's go.
Thank you for joining us today on Macabre Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, guys. Once again, we'd love to hear from you. Seriously. If you have any type story that's strange, sinister, downright spooky, doesn't matter how big or small it might be, please send it our way. You can email us easily at macabremondayspodcast@gmail.com or jump over to our website, macabremondays.com, and submit your story. Yours just might be featured in an upcoming listener episode.
Follow us on social media by searching Macabre Mondays for photos of today's episode, updates, and a little extra spooky fun. We'll see you next Monday for another sinister, strange, and spooky episode. Stay tuned, more mystery is just around the corner. But until then, stay curious and stay safe. Bye, everyone.
Deuces.
Ooh, brown line lights. Scary.
Look in the sky. I don't know. I tried. I'm just not as cool as you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
To bring you a well-rounded exploration of the Brown Mountain Lights, we've gathered information from a variety of sources. We delved into the historical records of the U.S. Geological Survey, accessing their archived reports from the early 20th century. For scientific perspectives, we used resources like Dr. Kanson's website for specific perspectives of information. You can see that at www.dancanton.physics.appstate.edu. What a mouthful. Local lore and eyewitness accounts were gathered from websites like brownmountainlights.com, Reddit, History's YouTube channel, The Proof Is Out There, Brown Mountain Lights Confound, the LITCV YouTube channel, The Mystery of the Brown Mountain Lights episode, discoverburkecounty.com, and WCNC.com, which featured articles and stories about the phenomena and also included paranormal investigations and theories that were explored. Links to these and other valuable resources can be found in our show notes, allowing you to further explore the mystery of the Brown Mountain Lights yourself. And please tag us in anything that you find.